Hello all my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, my name's Vanessa and I and I'm the proud creator of the Gentle Heart Tarot deck, the Pastel Journey Tarot, as well as the Wild Muse Oracle deck. And of course, your favorite psychic medium here on YouTube. And as you're already fully aware of through the title of this video, today's Pick a Card Tarot reading is all about your next significant other. We're going to be talking about who they are, what they do, what they look like, and when they're coming into your life. And I will be taking my sweet time with all 4 of these readings, so make sure that you get yourself comfortable, get a little snack or beverage of your choice, so we can vibe with each other while getting into the details about your love life. And if this is the very first time that you're receiving a Pick a Card Tarot reading, allow me to explain to you how this works. I will be introducing you to these 4 groups in just a moment's time. And then what I want you to do is to select one of these groups intuitively. If you absolutely cannot make up your mind and you're drawn to 2 or more groups, sometimes your personal reading can be a mixture between multiple groups. And in a case like that, it makes sense to tune into multiple readings. So once you've selected the group or groups of your choice, you get to scroll down into the description box or to the top of the comment section, click the corresponding timestamp of your group, and you'll be fast forwarded to your prediction. And since you guys always ask me about my rings and crystal jewelry, all the pieces I'm wearing today are from my crystal jewelry collection on bowlife.com. The link is in the description box, and furthermore, you can also find tons of free downloadables on my website as well. So whether you're looking to use crystal jewelry to amplify certain energies in your love life, or you just want to read an uplifting and positive blog, I've got you covered, my beautiful unicorn family. So now I'm going to introduce you to the 4 groups that I have prepared for you today. Group number 1 corresponds to the Gentle Heart Tarot deck, as well as the Howlite Crystal and the Following Sound. Group number 2 corresponds to the Muse Tarot, as well as the Jade Crystals and the Following Sound. Group number 3 corresponds to the Mystical Wisdom Oracle, as well as the Citrine Crystals and the Following Sound. And group number 4 corresponds to the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck, the Fluorite Crystal, as well as the Following Sound. So I will now provide you with a little moment of privacy so you can meditate on the 4 groups. Feel free to pause the video right here if you need a little moment to make up your mind. Otherwise, utilize this moment to give this video a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel. That greatly helps push my Pick a Card Tarot readings into the YouTube multiverse, so more people can get to know and benefit from this super healing and intimate space on YouTube. So I'll be right back to guide you into your psychic readings. So by now, you've hopefully been able to select at least one of these 4 groups. And before I get into your readings about who your next significant other will be, I just want to stress the importance of the relationship that you have with yourself first. Before you think of spending the rest of your life with another person, get comfortable with the idea of spending the rest of your life with yourself. You should feel like you are enough for yourself in order to be enough for anyone else. And in case no one has told you this today, you are enough, all my beautiful babies of the zodiac. Don't you dare even for a split second question that. So now that we've made that abundantly clear, I can get into your predictions. I will be starting off the readings with the first group, which corresponds to the Gentle Heart Tarot deck, as well as the Howlite Crystal. So if this is the group that you chose, then please continue watching. And to all of my other beautiful groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamps. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Gentle Heart Tarot deck as well as the Howlite Crystal. Excellent choice. The Howlite is a very calming, kind of clearing stone. It is a very relaxing one. That may be why you felt drawn to its energies. But now let's move into your prediction so we can figure out exactly who your next significant other is going to be. A lot of us have multiple significant others throughout our lifetimes. There are different types of spiritual connections too, right? There are twin flames, soulmates, karmic partners. I will explain all of these to you during the course of your prediction, depending on which ones that we encounter. But now let's move into the first little bit of your reading, shall we? By the way, the Gentle Heart Tarot deck is the first deck I ever published. Not to play favorites group number one, but I can already assure you that the Gentle Heart Tarot will bring so much clarity about your love life and who your next significant other is going to be. So first up, we've got the Ace of Diamonds. Now in the Ace of Diamonds, I see that your next significant other is actually just starting a new business venture or switching jobs. So I do see here that when it comes to career opportunities, you're most likely going to be really connected to your next significant other in that sense. So you may end up working together, even starting a business with your next significant other, and just overall you're on the same page when it comes to work and finances and everything in the earthly realm. And yeah, giving gifts, that's a legit love language. People need to stop making fun of that love language or making people feel as though it's not valid. Some of us like to receive gifts, okay? Some of us feel special when we get physical gifts from our significant other, and that's okay. And that's a love language that I see reflected here in the Ace of Diamonds that will be part of the relationship with your next significant other. Next up, we've got the Three of Swords. So what's also happening here right now simultaneously is some heartbreak. So it seems as though your next significant other has already gone through a breakup with an ex-partner, and this ex-partner can see the potential in them, can see where they're going when it comes to their career, and they're feeling kind of heartbroken. They're feeling like they want to get back together with them, but that's most likely not going to happen, group number one, as you are their next significant other in connectivity to the Howlite. Your next significant other isn't about drama, so they would never go back to an ex, no matter how dramatic that they may be, or no matter how dramatic that they may be acting at the moment. Next up, we've got the Nine of Diamonds in reverse. So the Nine of Diamonds in reverse shows me that your next significant other, group one, is actually in a phase in their life where they're trying to tie up some loose ends when it comes to investments that they've made. They're trying to figure out exactly how they want to move forward, whether they want to change their vehicle, whether they want to sell a house that they own, purchase a new property as an investment. And I do see here in the Nine of Diamonds reverse that everything is happening a little slower than they would like it to, but do know here that your next significant other is just a very business-minded and business-oriented individual, so you'll always be talking about things like that with them. Now, the Devil in reverse is actually a really positive sign to show up at this particular time in your reading. Let me tell you why, group one. The Devil upright definitely tells you to be careful when it comes to materialism and your relationship with money and material items. But we had the Devil show up in reverse, right? And we were just talking about how they're a business person, how they're very invested in ensuring that they make good choices when it comes to the material realm. But that is not everything to them. They utilize financial success in order to make life easier for themselves, but it's not the root of who they are. It's not the entirety of their being, and they don't define success or love or care just through money and material possessions. They are a lot deeper than that. Next up, we've got the wind chimes. I can see here in the wind chimes that all that they do, all your next significant other really does when it comes to money and investments is just create peace and harmony. They want to retire their parents. They want to retire you, themselves early. They just want peace and harmony in their life. That's all that they desire, group number one. And they're the type of person who is going to do everything in their power in order to take care of the people who they love. I see here within the hammock that your next significant other and you are going to take lots of vacations together, and you're also going to take a lot of vacations in the sense of just relaxing mentally. So maybe even meditating with each other or going to a meditation retreat type of thing. But I do see here in the hammock that actual destination vacations are happening. And I'm not just talking about long weekends, I'm talking about flying across the world, across the globe, visiting lots of different exotic locations and just relaxing, just getting away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. In the unicorn, I can see here that a lot of the unexpected is going to come true. So a lot of places you've maybe always kind of wanted to go or you've always eyed up on the map are all of a sudden going to be accessible when you're with the significant other. And I also see here within the unicorn that you can use your intuition in order to find this significant other, especially if there are multiple options for you to choose from in love. Just follow your intuition and know here that the more that you just listen to the person with whom you click with most, the more you will actually know for sure that you've attracted the right person, that you've got this significant other in your life. And I kind of feel a soulmate connection here rather than a karmic partner or a twin flame. Now, a soulmate is someone with whom you have an instant connection. And that's one thing that I see here in the unicorn. And this is someone that you feel like you've known before, like you've already known for lifetimes. This is an easy relationship, whereas a twin flame relationship can be very challenging. It can be full of outbursts, right? And anger and rage. And karmic partners are probably the least easy relationship because it can be very hard to let go of that type of tie. But we've got a very, very healthy vibe going on here for your next significant other, group number one. Now we've got the Nine of Pentacles upright. So in the Nine of Pentacles upright, do you know here that receiving a promotion and just watching the things that they have worked on for so long blossom and come to fruition is what your person is doing right now. That's what your next significant other is able to enjoy at the moment. So they're not too busy when it comes to work, even though they're starting some new things and there's lots of excitement going on. I see here in the Queen of Pentacles that your next significant other is someone who has their work-life balance in check. This is someone who knows of the importance of health, both mentally and physically, and they want to be wealthy, not rich. They want to make sure it's sustainable. The Queen of Pentacles shows me here that they're holding on to everything that's sacred to them, and their health as well as their time is their most valuable asset, and they feel as though that is also the most valuable thing that they can give to you, aside from the fact that gift giving is also an integral part of this connection and this relationship. I see here within the Chariot that things are going to move very quickly with your next significant other, as the Chariot is a card of movement, especially forward movement, and movement in the sense of you feeling protected even though things are moving very quickly, as the Chariot corresponds astrologically to the zodiac sign of Cancer, which is the protector, which is the sign of loyalty, of family, of a stable home life. And that's one thing that I can see that you're riding towards with your next significant other, group number one. So this relationship does have the potential to last for a very, very long time. Next up, we've got the Three of Wands. Now, the Three of Wands shows me exploration. It shows me here that your next significant other also likes to be in charge. They like to be the boss, and they like to be the one who's planning adventures. So think planning hikes, planning these trips, booking the flights, making sure everything is in place and in motion so you two can enjoy with each other. I see here within the Queen of Swords that they can sometimes be very blunt in the way that they speak. And that's not because they mean any harm, but it's just because there's someone who is very straightforward and honest. So your next significant other is someone who has some air sign qualities about them, but mostly a lot of earth sign, right? We've got pentacles, we've got diamonds, and I do want you to know that earth sign energy is the energy of Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So having those placements in their big three, meaning their sun, moon, or rising sign, is one thing that I see for your next significant other, group number one. We've also got the Queen of Wands here, which shows me that another thing that's important to them is to never lose their drive and their ambition, and they want someone who is just as driven and ambitious as they are, group number one. So if you have ever thought of starting your own business, or you even own your own business, you're the type of person who's always looking for ways to improve. Okay, self-development is a big one as well. They're not just looking for someone who is driven financially. They want someone who is just driven when it comes to their personality, when it comes to habits. Know that that is most likely going to be the most attractive trait to your next significant other. And that is like the one thing that they're going to say is so amazing and awesome about you. I see here within the Rhino that this relationship will overcome any obstacle. So it's very likely, group number one, that the person with whom you'll end up with next is someone who could be your forever person. They could be the one. They could be someone that is around for decades. And do know here within the Rhino spirit that it's like you will just blindly know. In case you didn't know, rhinos are near blind, which is why it's so important that people don't startle them, because once they're startled, they can of course become very aggressive. So I do see here within the Rhino spirit that there's this kind of blind trust that we've got in this love and relationship. Now the Coyote spirit shows me here there will be some detours, some unexpected little side streets, if you will. Now let me explain to you exactly what I mean, group number one. So these detours may come in the form of doing things in an order that's unconventional. So your next significant other may be being the one, and rather than, for example, starting a family after getting married, it may happen before. Maybe you'll move in with one another before you've signed the deed, or maybe it'll be a completely different thing that you didn't expect to happen, a completely different detour, such as a long distance relationship first and then moving in with one another. Just know here that there may be obstacles, there may be detours, but at the end of the day, nothing is going to stop you and your next significant other from being together. Next up, we've got the Dragonfly spirit. Now, the Dragonfly spirit shows me that an important part of this relationship is that it just shows how truth transcends illusion. It shows how true love really does always win. The Dragonfly spirit, in case you didn't see, also corresponds to the master number 22, which is a master number of great teachings and balance. So this next significant other is actually really being called into your life to teach you what true love is like, what it feels like, what it's able to endure and overcome, and what true love can do for a relationship. I see here within the Chameleon spirit that in a lot of instances when things are hard, you and your next significant other are just going to act as if everything is fine. You're just going to have to learn to lift each other up, to cheer each other on, even in difficult times. And I see here within the Chameleon spirit that when you both know that you're just doing that to make each other feel good, nobody kind of calls the bluff either, because it's comforting, because it feels nice to be with someone who's on the same page. Next up, we've got the Wombat spirit. Now in the Wombat spirit, I can see here that you're going to share the same home with this person. Your next significant other is someone who also works from home a lot, group number one, and this is someone with whom you're going to build your little fort and your little castle with. So I'm really excited about this first part of your prediction, and I would like you to leave a little star emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you chose group number one and that you've made it this far into your prediction. But what I'm going to do now, group number one, is we're just at the start of your reading, is I'm going to clear and cleanse the space for you, and then I'll be right back with you so we can get into more details about your next significant other and what the relationship is going to be like, what they do for work, who they are, all of that good stuff. So just hang tight. I'll be right back with you in just a second. Hello, group number one. Welcome back. Let's delve even deeper into who your next significant other is, shall we? So we've got the Tower as well as the Knight of Wands. So one thing about your next significant other is that there's someone who is very confident, because one thing I can see here within the Tower is that everything that they knew was burnt down. One thing I can see here within the Tower is that they had to rebuild themselves from the ground up. And I see here within the Knight of Wands that they did so not really knowing what they were doing, but having faith in their capabilities. So whatever they're doing when it comes to their job and their occupation, know that they're the type of person who is very confident and who knows that whether there are highs or lows, they will be able to get themselves back on their feet. I also want to use some runes in order for us to figure out a little bit more about your next significant other. Let's just see what rune intuitively gets pulled into your reading. So we've got Berkana here, I believe. Within Berkana, one thing that I can see is that your person is someone who is fighting for liberation. Your person is someone who is all about new beginnings and growth. So they may be working in the medical field or in science, for example, where they're looking for new breakthroughs. The person who your next significant other is someone who is very innovative. They're very forward thinking. They're the type of person who always feels as though there are more truths to uncover. I want to add another rune into your prediction for you, group number 1. Let's see what we intuitively draw in. Okay, I believe this is Fehu. With Fehu, we've got money, wealth, as well as abundance and luck that's depicted. So I can see here that your next significant other is definitely someone who has created wealth for themselves. We already spoke about financial stability, we spoke about their professional life, we spoke about them just overall being very good in the earthly realms, and we have this confirmation here for you, group number 1, of them either coming from a wealthy background already or creating their own wealth. Either way, they're the type of person who is definitely going to have a lot to hand down to kids. They're the type of person who has fought for everything that they have, whether they had an easier start in life or a more difficult one. And the reason why they fought for everything, no matter what their situation was, is because here within the Tower, it is clear that at some point everything crashed and burned. At some point they had to restart their entire life, and they've learned from that mistake. But what also came from that mistake or from that situation is that they have gained so much confidence in their ability to move forward and to create their own reality that they're the type of person who doesn't take no for an answer. Next up, we've got the Devil again. So I see here for you, group number 1, that when it comes to materialism, when it comes to their relationship with things, this is definitely something that a lot of people envy. And I see that the reason why they're so different now, the reason why the Devil showed up in the first part of your prediction reversed, but now we're having this little insight into how they became who they are, right? Group number 1, it shows here that at one point your person was very much into consumerism. Your person was all about what they could do with their finances, was about impressing people with finances. They had a motivation that wasn't as pure at one point in time. And that's where I see here within the Tower that everything went south, that everything went sour for them. And that was a lesson, a karmic lesson that they were meant to learn, that the universe gave them in order to remind them that it's the most important to ensure that they spend enough time with family, that they ensure that their health is in a good place, and that they don't always put financial gain first, that wealth is an entire spectrum and an entire picture. So that is one thing that I can see here that your person has learned. Next up, with the Page of Cups, I can see that your next significant other is someone who has never had a relationship that is this serious as it will be with you. So they've definitely been in relationships, but they've never really looked at someone as a person with whom they can be with forever. They've never really been all that infatuated with another human being. So this is going to be completely new for them. It's going to be a new experience being with you. And also I can see here within the Page of Cups and the Knight of Wands that they like that they can have conversations with you and they don't feel like they have to dumb themselves down. That is one thing that I can see here. I see that because they're the type of person who academically has studied to a really high level, and also their job requires quite a bit of brain power. They like to be with someone with whom they can have a deep and eloquent conversation with that isn't just surface level. Next up here within closure, I can see that the person who your next significant other is definitely someone who has walked away from situations where they never gained the closure that they wanted. I see that here with the Devil and the Tower, and they had to learn to give themselves their own closure. So especially with this situation that didn't work out, so a business that didn't work out, or for example, a job that kind of had a messy ending to it. So people may be spreading rumors, saying things that were just not true in order to get them fired, mismanagement of funds, things like that. I do definitely see here within closure that they had to find a way to calm their own minds, to calm their own psyche, and to give themselves what they needed because they couldn't expect it from other people. So they've definitely worked in some industries where people are very cutthroat and where people don't come back and say sorry or apologize. So think within the financial industry, but maybe also still within, the health industry, anything that has to do with labs, with creating things that are very technical, that are very much behind a screen as well, a lot of numbers that are involved and not that much human interaction as in caring. Next up, we've got empowerment, group number 1. So I can see that your next significant other is someone who feels super empowered but also wants to empower you. They're all about female rights and female empowerment as well, and they're a very forward-thinking type of person. So not only do they love innovation when it comes to their job and their work, but they also love that when it comes to people's personal lives and when it comes to the human population and equality in general. They're a very open-minded individual, and they're the type of person who will support anyone no matter what they want to do, as long as they're not harming another person, and of course, as long as this is something that's coming from a place that is authentic. Next up, we've got the turtle spirit. So I can see here that the person with whom you're going to be with next has learned to slow down. So at one point, they did live the fast life. We spoke about that here within the Devil and the Tower, and that crashed and burned. That didn't work out for them. So now they're taking things slow and steadily and easily. And I see here within the turtle spirit that they're also taking good care of their health. They're taking good care of their external appearance. The rabbit spirit shows me that they're also the type of person who likes to be intimate. They're the type of person who needs physical intimacy. They're the type of person who also wants to build their own family. And overall, you will never find that this person is not in the mood, if you know what I mean, group number 1. Your next significant other is someone who is definitely going to adore you physically and emotionally. Next up, we've got the wreath. So one thing that I can see here within the wreath is that your next significant other is someone who has experienced a loss as of recently. So think, for example, the loss of a pet or a family member, and I definitely see here within the wreath that this is something that you're going to be able to help them get over a little bit more. As I see here within the dagger, that this is a lot of tense energy that's around them. This is a very tense situation. So having you to support them, to be there, to kind of soothe their anxiety and their worries is going to be super helpful, and is definitely going to show them that you've got their back, that you want to be there for them, and that you're the type of person whom they can always count on. Next up, we've got the horse. So the person with whom you're going to be with next doesn't live all that far away from you, group number 1, and you're going to meet them pretty soon. I see that here within the horse, which represents a very short journey that can be done just via a horse, so to say. So that can give you kind of information about what the radius may be. They're not going to live across an ocean. They're not going to live so far away that the distance can't be covered by horse, so to say, and you're going to meet them sooner than you expected. And I see here within the scales that You will meet them during a time where you feel like your life is actually in balance, where you feel like your life is actually in a place where you've got things figured out, at least to the degree where you're not having any emotional outbursts or mental breakdowns or anything like that. You're going to meet them in a very balanced, very sweet, kind type of setting and environment, group one. Next up, we've got if you believe. So I do see here that a big part of meeting your next significant other has to do with whether you believe that you're worthy of meeting this next significant other or not. So it's important for you to keep a good mindset, to keep a positive spirit, as that is really half the battle when it comes to love and meeting new people. So group number one, make sure that you stay open-minded when it comes to your next significant other. So we are at the end of this part of your prediction. I will clear and cleanse the space one last time, and then we'll see if any more messages come through about details when it comes to your next significant other. So just give me a little moment to clear and cleanse the space for you, and we'll get a little more in depth about your next significant other. Hello, group number one. We're back and we're delving even more deeply into your prediction. Let's figure out a little bit more about their physical attributes as well, shall we? So first up, we've got the sea serpent, we've got the tiger, as well as the lizard. So I do see here within the sea serpent that they are a very well-rounded individual, but they're also someone who has this air of superiority. I see that in connectivity to the tiger. A lot of people find your next significant other to be intimidating, maybe because they're very tall when it comes to their height, their size. They're a rather large individual, but it can also just be an energetic thing. As one thing that I see here within the lizard, energetically speaking, is that your person feels very cold-blooded to a lot of people. Your person, your next significant other, feels like the type of person who doesn't show emotions. So people who meet your next significant other for the first time are probably not going to get to know them on a very deep level. They're usually just all business. So that is how other people perceive them. But of course, they have a different side for you, group number one. And let's see what that side is all about. We've got the butterfly. So the side that they have for you, the way that you perceive your next significant other, is that they've just gone through this huge transformation. They've gone through a lot of changes, both on an internal and an external level, and just overall their life has not been easy, but they've come out the other side stronger, brighter, bigger, in a sense, with a lot more confidence. We've got that here within the phoenix as well. They've risen like a phoenix from the ashes, and they've been able to kind of make a space and a place for themselves in this world that other people maybe never thought that they could accomplish. I see here within the swan that on an external plane, your next significant other is someone who dresses very elegantly. According to society standards, they are a good-looking individual, and they are that type of individual that has more of an old-fashioned, classical type of look. They're not into fast fashion or trends or anything like that. They have a very old money type of aesthetic, if that makes sense, group number one. So that is one thing that I can see when it comes to their external appearance. Next up, I can see that you're en route to meeting this person, group number one. Whatever you're doing at this point in your life, don't stop, as I can see that when it comes to your next significant other, you're on the right track to being with them. And I can see here within you're ready. If you were looking for confirmation as to whether you're ready for your next significant other, whether you are ready to move on to your next commitment and connection, you are group number one. You're in a spot where everything is aligned for you to be able to work on a new relationship. And I do see here that your next significant other is also in a place where they have let go of the past, they have let go of exes. Exes maybe haven't let go of them, but they've let go of anyone whom they don't want in their life any longer. I see here within compromise that you need to be open to this relationship being very mature, very adult-like, which also means that there will be a certain degree of compromise that will have to be done within your connection with this person. But I do see here that clear communication is really key with your next significant other, and that's something that you will be working on right from the start of the relationship. You will be talking about things such as different attachment styles in relationships. You will be talking about what a healthy relationship is and what makes for a healthy relationship. Some of the things are, of course, communication, but there's also trust, honesty, support, feeling safe, and both of you being able to hold yourselves accountable and each other accountable. There are so many different ways in which you can ensure that you're in a healthy relationship. There's so many different topics that you're going to discuss with your next significant other. It's going to definitely feel like you've just elevated your relationship game tenfold, because you're not with a child, you're not with someone who is just playing games. This person is serious about you and the connection. So group number one, this is the reading that I received for you. Make sure you leave a tiger emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you received and enjoyed your prediction. And if you made it all the way through, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel, because that clearly shows that we vibe with one another. I'd love for you to be part of the Unicorn Fam group number one. So thank you for sharing this magical time and space with me once again. And I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number two, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Muse Tarot in connectivity to the jade crystals. Let's get straight into your prediction. These are the crystals that you chose, the beautiful jade crystals. In a lot of different cultures, the jade is actually a crystal of good fortune. So you may have felt drawn to this stone because of that, but maybe also because these jade crystals are just gorgeous. So we've got some cards that popped right out of the pile that are going to help us figure out who your next significant other really is. So we've got the Three of Emotions as well as the Four of Inspiration. So I see here within the Three of Emotions that your next significant other is someone whom you're going to meet at a social gathering. And I see here with the Four of Inspiration that this is going to be at a social gathering where you're surrounded by people that you feel comfortable around. So think, for example, a wedding, a birthday party, maybe a work function where you're getting together with people who you already know, and that's where you're going to meet your next significant other. Furthermore, in the Three of Emotions, I can see that there's someone who is slightly outgoing, not too crazy outgoing, not a party animal, but they like to spend time with friends, with family. They like to get together with people with whom they can have a conversation with. As I see here in the Four of Inspiration, that your next significant other is someone who really likes deep conversation. They can't stand small talk. It's not something that they're good at. And they love to continue to solidify, build, and nurture relationships that have been with them and in their life for a very long time. They're a very loyal type of person. So if anyone has been with them from the start or has proven and shown loyalty to your next significant other, they will do the same, and they will stay in touch with that person for a lifetime. Next up, we've got the Three of Inspiration. So in the Three of Inspiration, I can see here that your next significant other is someone who is making waves right now, someone who is doing really well when it comes to their career, when it comes to their ambition. And I see here within the Three of Inspiration that that may mean that they don't have as much time to date. I see here within the Six of Materials that when they do find the right person, they're as generous as they can be with their time. So they will give you all of their time, all the time that they have, once they've kind of figured out that you're the right one, that you're the person with whom they want to be with, you're their next significant other. All of a sudden you will find that any free spot on their calendar, in their schedule and itinerary, will be dedicated towards you, group number two. So that may not be every single day, all day, and maybe that works great for you if you've got a life of your own and you're a busy bee yourself. So do know here within the Six of Materials that they're making an effort, even if that means that it's a couple times a week or a couple times a month, that they really have a lot of time to spend with you. Not every day, as they're very ambitious but as much as they can, they will be around you. Next up, we've got the fish. Now, within the fish, I can see that there's someone who knows their emotional side. They're connected to their divine feminine. Now, does that mean that they identify as female? Of course not. That simply means that they have taken time to reflect, to heal some old wounds, some childhood trauma. They have taken a good chunk of time to get to know themselves, and maybe they've even been to therapy before as well. And within the fish, I want you to know here that they don't like dramatic relationships. Your next significant other is someone who is really laid back and cool. They like to go with the flow, quite literally speaking, with this fish personality. Furthermore, within the fish, we may also have an indication of some Pisces energy, but we have yet to figure out what exactly they've got within their birth chart. Let's see what other animals we receive. We've got the bee. So about your next significant other, group number 2, leave a little bee emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you chose group number 2 and that you're ready to hear what it means to receive the bee within your reading of your next significant other. So the bee shows us that your next significant other is a very hardworking individual. They're the type of person who isn't selfish. When they do something, they do it to the best of their ability, and they want everybody to win. They're the type of person who puts the good of all above their own personal gain. So they're the type of person that will always put family first. They will always ensure that everybody is getting a little piece of the cake rather than them just having the whole cake to themselves, but them being lonely. The nightingale shows me here that they're a very outspoken person. They're not afraid to say how it is that they feel. And a lot of people don't expect that. So I see that your significant other, your next significant other, is someone who doesn't look too intimidating on the outside. People like to just go up and talk to them. People feel as though they're a very approachable person. As a result, your next significant other is the type of person that has screenshots and information on them that could literally ruin people's lives. That's how much people trust your next significant other, group number 2. So do know here in the Nightingale spirit that people are always surprised when they realize, like, wow, this person actually has a little bit of an edge to them. This person is very outspoken, very honest, and they're not afraid to just say the truth or say how they feel. So the Nightingale shows me that this kind of outspoken and very real, very straightforward and honest approach to life is something that shocks people always when it comes to your next significant other. And they're also very outspoken about how they feel about you. So it most likely won't take very long for them to profess their love to you, for them to tell you exactly what they have in mind for future. That could be marriage, children, moving in together. They will just be very real and upfront with you, group number 2. Next up, we've got the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Swords just beautifully connects to what we were just talking about. The Suit of Swords represents communication. It represents air sign energy, which is all about the way that you talk to people. It's all about your mental space, the way that you think. And the Page of Swords definitely shows me here that your next significant other has a very fun side to them. They have a side to them that is bubbly, that isn't afraid to just be truthful. And they're the type of person who doesn't overthink too much. They just say how it is that they feel and what they're going through. So next up, we've got the Four of Swords as well as the Eight of Swords that just popped right out of the pile. So we've got more air sign energy. And in case you didn't know what air signs are Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini, group number 2. So having all of this air sign energy definitely shows us here that they've got big placements within air signs in their birth chart. So their zodiac sign, their sun sign being an air sign, maybe their moon sign and their rising sign as well. I definitely see here that your next significant other is someone who has a lot of air sign just sprinkled throughout their birth chart, right? We also have the Nightingale and the Bee, which both have to do with air. And I do want you to know here within the Four of Swords that they are a very calm, put together type of person. They're the type of person who engages in meditation. They're the type of person who loves self-reflection. In the Eight of Swords, I do see here that they have some moments in which they overthink, and they definitely have some moments in which they feel a little bit powerless as well when it comes to their mind and where it's going, especially in love. So I do see here that your next significant other is most likely someone who has been burned before, group number 2. So do know that you're going to have to approach them with a little bit of a soft demeanor, just kind of showing them that you care about them in a way that they can understand, okay? And that is through verbal communication. They're the type of person that really thrives with words of affirmation. They're the type of person that really does well when you tell them what you need and how you're feeling. I see here that the Queen of Cups confirms this for us. Your guides and your angels are with us, group number 2. They're letting you know here that your next significant other is someone who needs nurturing type of energy. This is someone who craves another person that cares, that is loyal, that can take care of them, that can give them, nice little shoulder rubs, head scratches, when they can just like lay their head on your lap and watch a show and fall asleep and just feel 100% safe with you doing things that they usually never do, right? Like falling asleep on someone's lap. That is perfect to them because they have so much going on when it comes to their career, when it comes to what they're doing in the day-to-day. You're like a vacation for them, group number 2. You're like their sacred space. And that is one thing that your next significant other really loves and appreciates in you. So I will now clear and cleanse a space for you, group number 2, because we're not done. We're still going to figure out more about your next significant other. So just hold tight and I'll be right back with you. Welcome back to this space, group number 2. Let's get into more details about who your next significant other will be, shall we? So let's see what we've got here. We've got big happy changes as well as within the next few weeks. Now, group number 2, there are some amazing changes coming your way and you're most likely going to meet your next significant other within the next few weeks. How exciting, group number 2. I am so happy for you, especially because you've got these big happy changes coming too. So it is beyond clear here that within the next couple weeks, your love life is taking a turn for the better. You're going to feel as though the world is your oyster when it comes to love. And I do see here that within the next few weeks, everything's going to change in a way that you wanted it to change into, okay? Everything's going to be going your way, group number 2, which is maybe a nice, much needed change of pace. Next up, we've got the 3 of Crystals. Now, group number 2 in the 3 of Crystals, I can see that there is some leaving behind that's happening. You're only taking what you need, as you can see here, and the rest just stays behind. So when it comes to love, you're only going to be with the type of person who you know truly cherishes you. The rest you're leaving behind. Anyone who's ghosted you, who's treated you in a way that you know isn't right, you're not looking back. You're moving forward and you're not afraid to say no. You're not afraid to walk away. The same goes for toxic friendships and family relationships. And because you're unafraid to do this, a lot of people respect you way more because they can tell that you're just focused on your big happy changes. You're just focused on what makes you happy. And that instills in them that they can't just treat you any way, group number 2. They have to treat you in a respectful, kind manner. Otherwise, you're going to walk away from the situation without ever reconsidering or looking back because you'll know you made the right choice. Next up, we've got the 9 of Diamonds reversed. Now, in the 9 of Diamonds reversed, I can see here that there are some delays when it comes to your work life because you are very much focused on love, group number 2. You're very much in love. You're infatuated. We have a situation going on for you here in love within the next few weeks. So it makes sense as to why you may be caught up in a little bit more of your personal life taking over most of your time and your thoughts than your work life being the focal point. And that's okay, of course. Don't completely fall off the bandwagon, group number 2. Don't completely make love the epicenter of your life. Remember that you worked very hard to get to where you are and to not lose momentum, but it's okay to sometimes take the foot off the gas pedal and just kind of focus on being happy for a moment. Let's see what other messages that your guides have prepared for you, group number 2, about your next significant other. So we've got the moon. You will intuitively know that this person is right, and I can see here within the moon that you have kind of figured out deception in the past many times. You've maybe even been in relationships that were very toxic, where just the fundamental parts of a relationship that make a relationship healthy were not there. And by fundamental things, I mean respect, right? I mean honesty, for one. Communicating openly and truthfully. Maybe that wasn't there. Maybe support was something that you were lacking. Supporting each other's choices, being understanding. Maybe you didn't feel that that was there. Safety as well. Emotionally, financially, accountability. Did you have that in past relationships? I see here within the moon that due to the experiences that you've been through in past romantic situations, but also growing up in your home with your parents, this has definitely made you someone who can read people really well. Let's see what other messages we've got for you, group number 2. We've got the Page of Swords again. We already had the Page of Swords in the earlier part of your reading, I believe. So here within the Page of Swords, we've got this outspoken energy. We've got a very clear communicator. And I do see here with all of this communicative type of energy that the person who your next relationship is going to be with is most likely someone who does a lot of talking for a living, someone who does communication for a living. So this could be someone who works in advertising. It could also be that they work in the entertainment industry, but either way, they're just the type of person who isn't shy to speak up, and they're also a student of life. They never feel as though they already know everything or they've already figured everything out. They're always about learning, growing, and just becoming a better person. Next up, we've got the nest for you, group 2. So in the nest, I can see an emotionally secure, loving family that's very important. And I see here that your next significant other wants to build a little nest with you, group number 2. They want to create a family with you, a safe space, a loving space. And if that is something that either one of you did not feel like you had growing up, it's like you want to break that pattern. You want to break that generational trauma and curse. You want to now build a legacy that you can be proud of. And I see here within the nest that the person with whom you're going to be with next, oh, okay, we've got the egg as well. Of all 200 cards of the tea leaf fortune deck, we've got the nest and the egg. How much more perfect can this be, group number 2? We truly do have your angels with you right now, right here, in your reading, telling you exactly what you need to know about your next significant other. So here within the egg, this is a symbol of success that's assured with good plans and hard work. So building a family, a legacy with this person is very much a possibility as long as you communicate, as long as you plan ahead and you both put in the work. And I can see here that your person definitely wants to do that. They are dead set on being with you, group number 2. And I do see here within your tarot and oracle cards that we've got this person who just wants to kind of start a family in a sense of building a team, right? Building a situation where you can support one another. So the person with whom you're going to be with next was maybe an only child or just didn't grow up with a good relationship with their siblings as well. And they want that to change for their own children and for their own family moving forward. Next up, we've got the cane. So the cane shows us here that your next significant other is someone who has to watch out for their health. So they maybe have something that they need to look out for, such as a vitamin deficiency, where they have to make sure they take their vitamins every single day. Maybe they have had a health scare before, and now it's important for them to make sure that they're taking good care of their health. So this shows that their number one priority is definitely family, it's health, it's taking care of all of the things that are invaluable, which means that we can't put a price tag on these these things. And they're definitely not someone who is just materialistic. I do see here with the nest and the egg that they want to put that bun in the oven sooner rather than later. So that's one thing about your next significant other and your relationship with them. I see here within beauty sleep that your next significant other is someone who likes to just lounge around and also take time to do nothing. They don't feel guilty about that. They don't feel any sense of anxiety whatsoever. They're a great sleeper, and they're the type of person who will encourage you to get more rest as well. So this is a very healthy type of relationship. They will never look at you in a weird way if you're taking a midday nap or anything like that. Group number 2, they are so non-judgmental. And I see here within your tribe, your vibe, that your next significant other is going to fit seamlessly and effortlessly into your family and friend circle. They're going to get along amazingly well with the people who are closest to you, group number 2. It's almost as though they are part of the tribe, like they've always been part of the tribe, so to say, and like they're not even a new person. That's one thing that I can see here within your tribe, your vibe. You just get along with them in such an inexplicable way. So I am getting this sense within your connection that this is like has strong soulmate tendencies, and a soulmate is someone with whom you have an instant connection and it feels like you've known them forever. And this is typically the type of person you marry, which is what we're seeing here within your reading as a real possibility, group number 2. And this is someone who teaches you self-love as well. That's a soulmate. But there could also be some twin flame tendencies in here. A twin flame is someone who gives you a very breathtaking type of connection where there are a lot of synchronicities, okay? And all of a sudden, it just hits you that this is the right person. And this is one type of energy that I see here within the big happy changes, everything happening relatively quickly, and also thinking very quickly of settling down, thinking very quickly of creating or blending a family. Next up, we've got the Temperance card. So your guides and your angels, they definitely want you to make sure that you enjoy every stage of the relationship. Try to not rush into anything as much as possible, group number 2. I know it can be very hard to hold back and to take a step back when you're in love, when you're madly in love, when there's a lot of infatuation that's going on, when emotions are running high. But know here within the Temperance card that you're being called to take your time to educate yourself about this person, who they are, and to also both figure out what your attachment styles are in the relationship. Did you grow up not feeling safe? Then maybe you have a very anxious type of attachment style. Maybe in past relationships, one of you wasn't treated right, so you may have a avoidant type of attachment style. Maybe one of you is completely healthy and just all green flags, and then you just have a secure attachment style. But the fact that you both come from such different backgrounds is definitely something that I see you should learn about and figure out what the other person's love language is. Next up, we've got the Three of Wands. Now, the Three of Wands here shows me that everything is like a team effort to this person with whom you'll be with next. They simply want to feel appreciated. They will do a lot for you, but they, of course, also want to feel as though you're happy about everything that they're putting forth. The World is one of the most favorable cards, if not the best card of the tarot, so to say, group number 2. The World is the last card of the major arcana with the tarot. The major arcana, those are the first 22 cards of the tarot, in case you didn't know. And if you're looking to learn tarot, by the way, group number 2, I have a tarot course where I teach you all of the ins and outs. It is linked below. It's on bowlife.com. You can find it right there if you're looking to become a tarot reader as well. It's very comprehensive and easy to understand. So do know here within the World, as I was saying, that this is basically the most favorable card as it shows fulfillment. It shows that the world is basically your oyster. Everything that you've wished for is coming to fruition. And I can see here that when it comes to this next significant other, this is it for you, group number 2. This is a relationship that you can be in the long term, that's healthy, that has the characteristics that you need in order to stay with them forever, potentially, of course, if you want that as well. There has to be consent, of course, group number 2. Next, we've got the Six of Swords. Now, the Six of Swords shows me that your thought pattern is definitely changing and evolving with this person. So this is a relationship, a significant other with whom you can grow. And that's one of the things that you both love most about the relationship. The Ace of Cups is a card of new romantic beginnings. Know that here we have another confirmation of your next significant other coming into your life sooner rather than later. We have that here within the next few weeks card, right? That they're coming into your life pretty soon, group number 2. So get ready for this amazing ride. Get ready for love, to feel infatuated, to feel as though you're head over heels into someone, to feel butterflies or the whole zoo in your stomach as things are looking really bright and fun for you. So group number 2, we're at the end of your prediction, and if you enjoyed it, leave a little globe emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you chose group number 2, and that you watched your reading all the way till the end. Group 2, I'd like to thank you for spending this magical time and space with me within your psychic tarot reading. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch up with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your Pick a Card Tarot reading about your next significant other. You chose the Mystical Wisdom Oracle deck in connectivity to the citrine crystals. These are the 2 beautiful citrine crystals that you chose. Citrine comes in different colors, and I also want you to know here that citrine is a crystal of abundance. This is a stone that brings prosperity and makes it easy for you to manifest wealth into your life too. That may be why you felt drawn to these stones, but maybe you also just loved their appearance. However, now let's figure out exactly who your next significant other is going to be, shall we? First up, we've got animal bond. So your next significant other is someone who has a special place in their heart for animals. That says a lot about who they are as a person. And group number 3, your next person, your next relationship is going to be with someone who owns animals, someone who cares for animals, someone who is there for animals. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have a lot of them, but they've just always had that strong chemistry and bond with the animal kingdom. And animals have always liked your next significant other. Next up, we've got potential. So I do see here that your next significant other is someone who thinks big. This is someone who sees potential in everything. Your next significant other is a glass half full type of person. They are the type of person who never sees obstacles or challenges as something that's inconceivable or something that will stop them from moving forward. They are a very solution-oriented type of person. They have a lot of confidence. Your next significant other was brought up by parents who taught them to believe in themselves. And I do see here within potential that you can also tell that they're going places in life. They are by no means going to stay where they are right now. And what that means is that they're going to level up in every sense of the word. They're going to level up when it comes to their career. They're going to level up financially. They're going to level up emotionally, physically. They're constantly looking for ways to improve and to also live life out to its fullest potential. Next up, we've got the owl. Now, group number 3 in the owl, I can see that your next significant other is a very intuitive type of person. They don't like to only listen to their rational mind. For them, following their intuition is just as important. They feel as though intuition is a gift that we need to cherish and embrace a lot more than we do right now in society. And I see within the owl that they're also the type of person who isn't afraid to look beyond the surface or below the surface. They are the type of person who wants for situations and other people to take off the facade, to take off the mask and just be honest. If there's something that your next significant other cannot stand, then that is a dishonest type of person or situation. I see here within the coyote spirit that there will be some detours to meeting this person. So it's not going to be a direct meeting this person and immediately being together with them. I see here within the coyote spirit that your next significant other is someone that you're going to get to know as a friend first. This is someone with whom you're first going to build a different type of relationship. It could be a business relationship, a friendship, as mentioned, but do know here that there is a detour to love. And this detour is important. It's an integral part of how your relationship is developing. And I do see here with the coyote spirit and potential that this is a great detour because it teaches you to first know your next significant other at the core before getting with them in a romantic sense. Next up, we've got the dolphin spirit for you. So I can see that your next significant other is someone who is very positive. They are always in a good mood. And I can see here within the dolphin spirit that even when they're faced with some challenges, they still choose to smile. They still choose to carry on in a way that shows that positivity, that shows that they're the type of person who isn't giving up. They're not going to take no for an answer either. To them, the word no translates into not now. And I definitely see here within the dolphin spirit that thinking big just comes out in their everyday actions. Next up, we've got bread. So I see here within bread that they're going through a period of prosperity and abundance. And I see that your next significant other is most likely a magnet for prosperity and abundance because of their attitude and their mindset and their energy. It's undeniable that they've got this great aura around them that just attracts new opportunities, people, and wealth, and they're constantly going to exciting events. So your next significant other is not necessarily an extrovert, but they're constantly invited to go to events, right? Be it parties, be it birthdays, because people want their energy and their vibe around. People appreciate the fact that your next significant other remembers things such as birthdays, is very thoughtful about calls, phone calls, sending cards, emails. I do see here within the forest that one thing about your next significant other that is unclear is the future and what they're going to do next. I see that that is something that constantly keeps you and everyone else on their toes because your next significant other is someone who doesn't just give away what happens next. And that's not because they're keeping secrets. It's because they don't know themselves. Your next significant other is very unpredictable when it comes to the things that they may do. They may start a new business. They may decide to move to another country. They may decide that they want to start a family. Your next significant other is someone who is just so inspired by life and wants to live life to the fullest that they're not going to ever see anything as impossible. Next up, we've got the Two of Wands. The world is at their fingertips. That is how your next significant other feels, group number 3. And I see here within the Two of Wands that they are also the type of person who feels as though you can have everything. You can have good health. You can be young. You can make good amounts of money. You can enjoy life and travel and see different countries and different traditions. The Two of Wands shows that they are a very open-minded type of person, and they're also the type of person who wants to make decisions based on what will give them the most memorable experience. They're not so much into just stuff, they're more into experiences. I see here within the Empress that your next significant other is deemed as rather good-looking by the general population, by society. Your next significant other is someone who is very much connected to their senses. And I do also see here in the Empress that we have another symbol of abundance. So your next significant other is really someone to whom money and abundance flows freely. And I do see here within the Empress that they are a family-oriented type of person, and having a family is something that they desire. We've got that here in the Ten of Pentacles again. It's important for them for their home and their family life to be intact and to be picturesque, to be beautiful. They don't just want family life to be something that exists, they also want it to feel and look good. It is, of course, important for things to be authentic. They don't want to just put up a facade of a happy family, but do know here that your next significant other definitely values the type of image of, animals, children, a nice steady home, a put together and clean home. And this is something that they strive for because they love it. It's not to impress others, it's because it's something that makes them feel good. The Ten of Pentacles also shows me here that your next next significant other is someone who will protect their family regardless of what happens. And it is also time for them to create their own definition of family, whether that entails animals or children or just another person. Next up, we've got the vulture. Now in the vulture, I want you to know that your next significant other is the type of person who always makes something out of nothing. It doesn't matter how little you give this person, they will find a way to turn trash into treasure. That is one thing that I see here within the vulture. They never let anything go to waste. And that also means that they are very, very smart when it comes to money. That means they don't like to waste money. And they are maybe the type of person who will also not necessarily buy super expensive, lavish gifts or anything like that. Next up, we've got the earthworm. Yes, they are practical. To them, it is more important to invest in different avenues that will generate even more money and more income rather than just spending money on things to impress other people or to look good. I do see here within the earthworm that they are a very grounded, down-to-earth type of person, and they are an integral part of a business or a company. There is some sort of business out here that would not survive if it wasn't for your next significant other. So that is mostly also why they're doing so well in the work and financial department. Now, group number 3, allow for me to clear and cleanse the space so we can move even more deeply into who your next significant other is going to be, because we're still at the early stages of your pick a card tarot reading. So I'll be right back with you to deliver more details about who your next significant other is going to be. Hello again, group number 3. Did you miss me? Make sure that you leave a little ghost emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you're still here and that you chose group number 3. Now let's move further into your prediction, shall we, about your next significant other, who they're going to be and what they're all about, and when you're going to meet them. Of course, that's the most important. First up, we've got the 10 of Materials. Now, the 10 of Materials shows prosperity. It shows that they make more than enough to support themselves and their immediate family. They have a great relationship with money. They've got a great work-life balance going on as well. And I do see here in the 10 of Materials that it's time for them to move on to some new ventures and projects at this point in their life. I see here within the Ace of Emotions that a fresh relationship coming in is the message that we're receiving here for your next significant other. And this makes a lot of sense because after all, they are your next significant other. So this is an indication of you coming into their life. This is an indication of a relationship happening. And it makes a lot of sense as we are in this reading, figuring out with whom you're going to be together next. They're going to be with you. You're going to be with them. You get the gist. Group number 3. So it makes sense as to why we've got this relationship prediction here within your next significant other's reading. I see here within the 3 of Materials that you're going to meet them during a gathering that has to do with work. So this is someone that you might meet at a work function, at a work party, so to say. Maybe it is a get-together of entrepreneurs. Maybe when they move on to start a new business venture or to work in a different firm, a different place, that is when you will meet this person, group number 3. But I do want you just to know here within the 3 of Materials that it will be a social setting. It will be a place of collaboration when you meet them. And then you will immediately get to know who they are as a person, what their character and personality is like when you are being called to work with them, when you have to do a project with them. I see here in the Knight of Materials that what will immediately impress you about your next significant other is how ambitious that they are and how much of a go-getter that this person is. The Knight of Materials shows me here that they're never afraid to put themselves out there. They're never afraid to be the first one to go for an opportunity or for innovation. And I see here within the Knight of Materials that they're also someone who is very kind of hardworking. Okay, so they're not just a flashy person or someone who just puts their first foot forward. They continue on with the hard work. Even when things get tough, they are very disciplined and thorough. Next up, we've got the Two of Emotions. Now, the Two of Emotions is a card of the tarot, which is actually the Two of Cups in the traditional tarot, in case you didn't know, group number 3, which corresponds to romantic love and being with someone in this type of sense of a soulmate relationship. And I want you to know here within the Two of Emotions that this shows that this is a partner with whom you're going to be with for a long time. Your next significant other is someone with whom you can build a family with if you desire to do so. The Two of Emotions shows loyalty, it shows intimacy and a real connection, but also a deep desire and attraction. So the Two of Emotions definitely is an indication of the fact that this romance is going to be hot, steamy, interesting. It's going to fulfill you both, and it's definitely going to be satisfactory in more than just one way, if you know what I mean, group number 3. Next up, we've got the Oyster. Now, the Oyster shows me that your next significant other is someone who has a little bit of a hard external plane. You get what I mean, group 3? A hard outside, right? A hard shell. But they're very soft on the inside, and you don't really know what awaits until you've cracked it open. I see within the Oyster that a lot of people find your next significant other to be hard to get to know or a little bit intimidating because people can't really read your next significant other, which serves them when it comes to business and their career, but can be difficult when people are interested in getting to know them. But that's maybe a good thing for you, group number 3, because there won't be as many people who are romantically interested in your next significant other because they're intimidated to chat them up or walk up to them and try to flirt with them or anything like that. I see here within the Deer that at the core they are actually a very gentle person, and I see that your next significant other is also someone who likes to think ahead in order to protect those who are more fragile, those with a more gentle soul, and those whom they care about. So whether that is their nieces, their nephews, whether that is just people who can't stand up for themselves, it's important for them to kind of be that protective shell that keeps these types of individuals safe. So also, social and political issues are important to them and are things that they like to speak about. I see here within the Firefly that your next significant other is someone who lights up a room. It's undeniable that they are someone who enters a room and all of a sudden the energy is just different. Everyone turns around or looks up to see them, to see what type of energetic light has just entered the space. And I do also see here within the Firefly, the Oyster, and the Deer that your next significant other doesn't have features that are very bold or too out there. They have a facial structure that just kind of goes together very beautifully, organically, naturally. There's nothing that stands out. It is just all very proportional. The Deer is kind of an indicator of the fact that they take really good care of themselves. So they groom themselves well. They notice little details. They also most likely are the type of person who is on the slender and athletic side. Next up, we've got psychic abilities. So your next significant other is someone who definitely has that sixth sense going for them. We already spoke about how they listen to their intuition in the owl in the earlier portion of your prediction, group number 3. So do know here within psychic abilities that the universe is kind of just making sure you know this, that it's really confirmed that your next significant other is someone who has a clairvoyant, clairsentient type of being to them. Next up, we've got good luck. Your next significant other is surrounded by good fortune. Your next significant other is someone who always seems to have amazing luck. They're the type of person who just, in a way, everything just always works out for them. It's hard to explain, group number 3, but your next significant other is just one of those people that you see go through life and you're like, how is everything working out for them? How is it that somehow they have gotten through this situation and come out the other end triumphantly
and thriving even more. So group 3, I will clear and cleanse the space one last time for you, and then we'll figure out exactly when you will meet your next significant other and other details about whom they are. So I'll be right back with you. We can get the rest of the information that your angels and guides want you to know about your next significant other. Welcome back, group number 3. I'm excited to delve even more deeply into your psychic reading so we can figure out exactly when you will meet your next significant other. Spirit, let us know what's coming next with this love life situation. So we've got look for a sign. I see that you will be noticing a lot of synchronicities before you meet your next significant other, to the point where it feels like your guides and the universe is like screaming at you that now's the time. Now's the time to meet them. Now's the time to put yourself out there. And by synchronicities, I mean number sequences, such as constantly seeing the number 222 everywhere. I also mean symbols, for example, that continuously pop up, maybe triangles, stars. I do see here within looking for a sign that if you ask the universe or God or whatever it is that you believe in for signs, you will receive them. Next up, we've got improving health. So group number 3, if you have had a little bit of a tricky situation with your personal health, maybe you have gone through a cold or a flu, or just overall there's something chronic that you're trying to deal with, I want you to know that your next significant other is someone that you will meet after some improving health, okay? After your health is at a place where you feel comfortable, especially if you feel like there is a health issue that you want to first gain clarity over, like, for example, getting your teeth checked, getting different tests done, blood tests and so on, to make sure you're okay. If you're feeling weird or queasy, just make that appointment, group number 3. Get the clarity that you need so you can move on with your life, and so that you can also make it very clear, energetically speaking, that you know where you stand with your health and you're ready to move on to your next significant other, and also let them know what the situation is. That doesn't mean that you first have to be perfectly healed or in perfect physical condition before you will meet your next significant other. It just shows that you need clarity so you can also communicate to your next significant other your needs and your limitations. Next up, we've got yes. So group number 3, it is undeniable that your next significant other is going to come as soon as we've got all of these things kind of sorted out. You're talking to the universe, you're talking to the higher entity, a higher power, and I can see here that your next significant other cannot wait to meet you. They're excited to come into your life, and here within letting go, it is very essential that you let go of the need to control, to let go of the need to know exactly when, what, where everything is going to happen, because the more you just let go and you follow synchronicities, you follow your intuition, the more you will be led to what's meant to be. Like, for example, your next significant other, but also other things in life, other opportunities, whether it be in business, whether it be in your personal life, maybe something that is like personal development, right? Being led to a counselor, a class of some sorts where you can pursue a hobby even more deeply, just things that heal you and serve you. Trust that your next significant other is on their way and is going to be in your life in due course, group number 3. Do know here within trust that this is something that differentiates someone who is fearful from someone who has faith. When you just have faith, when you just trust, that is when you have extracted and removed the power of fear from your life. When you're fearful, that means that you're lacking trust, right? That means that you don't quite believe that the universe has your back. That means that you don't quite believe that everything's going to turn out for the better, group number 3. So I do see here that you're being called to trust, to let go of fear having a hold on you, and to remind yourself that this is a conscious choice that you can make. This is a decision that you can make right now, to trust and to have faith in the good, to have faith in your love life turning out in a way that you desire, and knowing that fear is something that is not real, it's not tangible, so you don't need to let it live rent-free in your head. Next up, we've got got the cup. So I can see here within the cup that the universe is also trying to tell you right now, group number 3, if you feel called out or if you feel as though trust is difficult to have because you're going through a tough time financially or with your health or in your personal life, or you've been let down before, you've been cheated on, you've been mistreated. I mean, the reasons can be endless. The list can be endless of excusitis, so to say. And we need to heal you of this, group number 3. And your guides are trying to tell you to accept feedback and criticism when it's coming from a place of love, when it's coming from a place of trying to make you better. So remind yourself here that finding trust and learning to trust doesn't mean that your experiences and your fears weren't valid. It just simply means that you're not allowing for your fears to have any hold or power over you any longer. Next up, we've got the wreath. So in the wreath, I can see that your next significant other is also going to go through a time of sorrow and loss when you meet them. So maybe a parent, a grandparent that's passed away, a pet, for example, as they are very close to animals. And I do see here within the wreath that that is a bonding moment that you will be able to share with this person because you are there for them at that point in time. They understand that you want to be there for them, so they're going to happily have you as someone to lean on, a shoulder to cry on, someone to speak to in their darkest moments. I see here within a tent that this is just a temporary thing. Of course, they're going to be able to recoup, to move on, and to continue with life as things were. As I mentioned to you throughout your reading, your next significant other is a very happy type of person. They're an upbeat human being. They've got great energy going for them. So yes, they will be sad over loss and over hurt and over difficult situations for a little bit, but they're the type of person who never stays sad or down for very, very long. I see here within the scissors that they're the type of person where when they're disappointed, they simply cut the person off or out. They simply remove and extract the situation so it's gone. So it was just a temporary thing and they get rid of it so that they can continue on with life. So that is why they have nobody in their life that is dramatic. That is why they have no one in their life that isn't a real friend. That is why your next significant other only has real people that surround them, because everything else to them is just not worth the effort. So all my beautiful angels that are surrounding us, let us know what else we've got to understand about your next significant other. Abundance, group number 3. It is very clear that your next significant other is going to bring abundance into your life as well. Just having their energy around you is so magnetic for abundance, for the things that you desire. And I see here that your next significant other is also someone who brings a lot of abundance with them when getting to know you. So I wouldn't be surprised if they take you out on fancy dates, if you go on some sort of trip with them, some sort of travels. I see here with abundance that they're also a gift giver when they care about someone. So don't be surprised if they have some really fancy gifts to give you. I see here within justice that things are looking very disciplined with this relationship. This is not someone who has a attachment style that is unhealthy, okay? Your next significant other has a secure type of attachment style, which means that they can trust pretty easily. They can communicate when they're upset directly and clearly. They're not a manipulator. They're not the type of person who struggles with being real and direct. They're actually the type of person who feels like there's a time and place to be upset or to go through challenging emotions, but there's also a time and place to just say it and be honest. I see here within the world, which by the way, group number 3 is known as the most favorable card of the tarot. It is the last card of the major arcana. The major arcana, those are the first 22 cards of the tarot, and they have a significant meaning when it comes to the impact that these messages have on your life, that these cards have on your life. So receiving the World card shows here that your next significant other is going to fulfill you, is going to make you feel as though you have everything that you've ever wanted. And that's not to say that you can't be happy without them. That's not the message at all, group number 3. It just means that having them in your life is such a beautiful addition that makes you feel like things are complete, like you don't need anything else. And now you can start to build with them. Now you can start to create a future with your next significant other. I see here within the Two of Wands that your next significant other is the type of person who likes to do a lot of things at once. So multitasking is important to them. They feel as though, why choose? They feel like you can have a lot of different irons in the fire at once, if that makes any sense. You can have a lot of different things and ventures going at once, which definitely means that you're going to have a very busy and interesting life with them. I see here within the Knight of Swords that your next significant other is also someone who is very direct, open, and honest when it comes to how they feel with situations that are difficult to talk about or childhood trauma as well. Your next significant other is someone who is very knowledgeable as well about a lot of different topics. So speaking to them is almost like speaking to a therapist. It's like having your own personal therapist at home and as a significant other. And it's definitely a safe space for you to just open up into because they're pretty mature. They will never use trauma or something difficult that you've told them against you. Next up, we've got success. So all of my beautiful souls of group number 3, your next significant other is coming to you sooner than you expected. This will be a successful relationship. So the timing is up to you when it comes to looking for signs and also focusing on your health. You are being called to focus on yourself first, group number 3. So if you don't focus on yourself for the next 3 years, for example, then know that this next significant other isn't going to enter your life for 3 years. However, if you focus on your health now, if you wake up every morning, you take those vitamins, you move, you drink a lot of water, you make sure you do your meditation, and you really get into that routine of doing the best that you can for your health, both physically and mentally, know that they will come into your life before you know it, and signs will start to appear absolutely everywhere. We've got a lot of angels and wings that may be symbols and signs that you're seeing right before they enter your life, group number 3. So I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Make sure that you leave a little dove emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you made it all the way to the end, and that you're part of the unicorn family. Of course, make sure you're subscribed as well and that you've liked this video to let me and the YouTube multiverse know to continue pushing these readings out. Thank you so much for being here, for spending this beautiful, magical time and space with me. I hope you feel refreshed, healed, and supported, group number 3, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your Pick a Card Tarot reading and psychic prediction about your next significant other. You chose the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck in connectivity to the fluorite crystal. This is the gorgeous fluorite. This is a crystal that brings you grounding as well as freeing energy, which may be why you intuitively felt drawn to it, but maybe you just also loved its gorgeous appearance. However, now let's move into your prediction to figure out exactly who your next significant other is, when you're going to meet them, what they look like, kind of work that they do, just all the details that we can gather from your guides, angels, and the universe. So let's see what we've got. First and foremost, they belong to a fixed sign. So I can see that they're a very stable and dependable type of person. Now, the fixed signs that we've got here are Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, as well as Leo. Those are the fixed signs. Those signs are stable. They've got amazing willpower. Your next significant other is a very determined type of person. They're loyal and super dependable. That's one thing that I can see here. They've got strong fixed sign placements that make them who they are. And these fixed placements also mean that they don't love change very much. So once something is set into motion, they like to finish it, they like to follow through with it. I see here within the Three of Cups reversed for you, group number 4, that your next significant other is actually an introvert. They're not the type of person who likes to go out partying. They're not the type of person who likes to be the center of attention. They're actually an individual who likes to just stay in, have a nice quiet night at home. They will will go to social gatherings and social functions if they need to, but they don't choose to go out just for fun. I see here within the Three of Cups that they're the type of person who likes to just have a laid back time with themselves or with a significant other rather than being in a large group of people. I see here within the Wheel of Fortune reversed that they're also the type of person who likes to just take time in order to complete projects rather than rush through them. I see that your next significant other is also at a point in their life where it's up to them to make choices. It's up to them to be decisive. And the Wheel of Fortune shows here that they're at a turning point where destiny is going to decide what happens next within their existence. So I do see that you're meant to meet your next significant other sooner rather than later. I mean, we'll find out more details about this further down the line in your prediction, group number 4, but the Wheel of Fortune reverse does show us that when it comes to destiny and fate, your next significant other definitely has some things going on that are interesting. In connectivity to Aquarius, we've got this notion of them being an Aquarius, as here with fixed, Aquarius is part of the fixed signs. Aquarius is one of the 4 fixed signs that we mentioned, and this is a sign of originality, philanthropy, progressive thinking, being independent, original, rebellious, all of those amazing traits. So do know here that your next significant other is confirmed to be an Aquarius or to have an Aquarius placement in their big 3, maybe even 2 Aquarius placements. So in their sun sign, which is their zodiac sign, their moon sign, and their rising sign, you will definitely find Aquarius, group number 4. And I do want you to understand that your next significant other is a very innovative type of person. That's probably also why they're more of an introvert, because a lot of people are just too small-minded to understand them. Next up, we've got the starfish spirit. So in the starfish spirit, they think that possibilities are infinite in this lifetime. And I've got to agree with your next significant other, group number 4. There are so many things that have only been possible because someone thought that they could do it, because someone believed in themselves and didn't listen to small-minded people, whether it is the creation of smartphones, cars, airplanes. I mean, before these things existed, if someone told you they were going to do that or create that, you would have probably thought they were crazy, group number 4. But still, there were individuals who believed in themselves, who believed that these are things that could be done, that could be created, and they did it. And it changed how we live. It changed humanity and life on this planet. And that is the exact type of individual that your next significant other is. They're someone who could change the world. They are a crazy artist, so to say, a crazy innovator, and they like to keep their circles small. They like to only keep people around themselves who they know bring good energy to the table and who see the possibilities that they see, or at least don't knock them down. I see here within the whale spirit that your next significant other is a very mysterious person. People find it hard to get to know them and understand them, and that's because they don't open up to a lot of people. They like to keep to themselves. So your next significant other, group number 4, is definitely not someone who would cheat or who would be disloyal. I see here in the whale spirit that your next significant other is more preoccupied with life's great mysteries, with figuring out how they can make an impact on this planet than they're interested in meeting other people or doing anything that is outside of your relationship or what might be a marriage one day. They do not care to step outside of a relationship whatsoever. Next up, we've got the badger spirit that popped right into your reading, group number 4. So the badger spirit actually corresponds to the number 4, and I can see that they are very fearless and bold. So while they have a very stable side to them, they are also bold. They're unafraid to take risks and to try new things. And the bee spirit shows me that they are a hard worker. They're the type of person who isn't afraid to roll up their sleeves in order to make their dreams or their visions a reality. So they're not just a dreamer, group number 4. Your next significant other is also someone who actually gets things done. Leave a little sunflower emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you're here, group number 4, that you're receiving this reading and that you're hearing all of these details about your next significant other. And now let's move further into your reading, shall we? So we've got the Ant Spirit. They're the type of person who is great at collaborating when it comes to work and when it comes to big projects. They don't feel like they should be doing anything by themselves. Yes, they are an introvert, so they don't like to go out and party, but when it comes to work, they're a different person. They will collaborate, communicate with other people, and put together a fantastic team with whom they can accomplish great things. And we've also got the Hummingbird Spirit as well as the Koala Spirit. So the Hummingbird Spirit shows me that they're the type of person who doesn't dwell about the past. They don't kind of have these fears of the future. They're just here in the moment. And the reason why your next significant other is this way is because they feel as though the universe or God or spirit, whatever it is that they believe in, group number 4, has a plan and has their back. They've got faith, and that's why they're not afraid, group number 4. That is why your next significant other just has this quiet confidence that you can feel is there. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you can just tell that they're expecting the best possible outcome. They're not overthinking anything. They just know life is working for them, not against them, and that the universe and spirit has a plan for them, a great one at that. So group number 4, allow for me to clear and cleanse the space so we can figure out more details about your next significant other, what they look like when you're going to meet them. So I'll be right back with you in just a moment to delve more deeply into your reading. Welcome back, group number 4. Did you miss me? Now let's move more deeply into your prediction about your next significant other so we can get all of the details that you are meant to receive. Spirit, what do we need to know about group number 4's next significant other? Give us all the information we need. So first up, we've got the tarantula. I want you to know here that your next significant other is a hunter. They go for what they want. So if they want to be with you, they will make it abundantly clear, group number 4. They will text you first. They will pursue you. They will go after what they want, and they will take what they see as a prize very seriously. So any concerns that you may have, they are going to make a way to kind of calm your nerves and your mind, and they're going to make sure there is not a doubt in sight about their love and care for you. I see here within the black egg that your next significant other is definitely an individual that a lot of people wish that they had on their team when it comes to love. They are a very rare type of individual, a rare person to find. And I see here within the black egg that they're most likely also the black sheep of the family or of the community, so to say, because they are such an innovator. They're a forward thinker. They're the type of person who breaks the mold. And it's very clear to a lot of people that they can't really compare to your next significant other, that they're just on a whole nother plane spiritually and also when it comes to their intelligence. I see here within the golden egg that your next significant other is a type of person with whom you're going to grow with spiritually, financially. And I see here within the golden egg and the black egg that what starts out as you being with someone who has big dreams actually ends up in a situation where there is a lot of wealth here. You have built a legacy for yourselves and you were with them from the beginning, group number 4, and that just even further solidifies the relationship and makes your next significant other more unwavering in wanting to be with you. So I do see a deep soulmate connection. There may also be some karmic ties here. This makes for a relationship that isn't always super easy because karmic partners are brought together to learn lessons that they didn't master in previous lifetimes or that they were unable to learn with a different type of partner. So this relationship will have its challenges, but what will always remain fixed and clear is that you belong with each other. Next up, we've got the hyena. So group number 4, I can see here within the hyena that your next significant other is not someone who cares all that much about appearances. You're most likely going to have to help them out with their wardrobe and their fashion sense, as I can see here within the hyena, that's just not something that concerns them. Think of, for example, Steve Jobs just wearing the same outfit every day for decades, so he didn't need to overthink it or invest time in putting together an outfit. That's the type of mentality that I see here with the hyena. They appreciate when you take care of yourself, but they're the type of person who will take care of their self when it comes to hygiene, but they're not hugely into fashion or anything like that. I see here within the whale that your next significant other would rather invest more time in spending it with you, with family, with loved ones, with friends, than thinking about the next item to purchase that will make them look cool or fashionable. I see here within the whale that they're a very deep individual. Group number 4, your next significant other is someone who is super mature, who has had lifetimes of experiences that other people could never understand, really. If you could see into their mind and look into the things that they have thought and experienced and the darkness that they've worked through, it would probably bring tears to your eyes, group number 4, to be completely honest with you. So your next significant other is definitely an individual that has more depth than the average person. Spirit, what else do we need to know about group number 4's next significant other? Yes, this is the person for you, group number 4. This is the confirmation that you needed in order to know whether this is going to be your future when it comes to love, when it comes to your next relationship. I see here within helpful people that your next significant other is the type of person who will always be there for you when you truly need them. And the same goes for friends and family. They don't make promises that they can't keep. They're the type of person where if there's an emergency, they will show up for you. And they're also the type of person who puts others before themselves. And I see here within not the right time that they also can say no when they're doing something, when they're working on a project. So your next significant other is truly an artist, is truly a creator who sometimes just goes into their space, into their atelier, so to say, group number 4, their little creative room. And that's just where they will work on things. They will either code, they will draw, they will create music, they will dance, they will film something, they will record. They will do their form of creative expression that is also going to be their main squeeze, their job, their entrepreneurial venture that propels them into this place of abundance, of riches. And I see here within not the right time that when they are in that space, they don't like to be disturbed. They don't like for anyone to talk to them. They don't like any distractions. And they're definitely the type of person who can go into hermit mode for a few days, or if it's a big project, even weeks at a time. And your next significant other needs someone who can understand that. Next up, we've got the 9 of Voices. Now, the 9 of Voices shows me that your next significant other is someone who goes through a lot mentally, but they're always very quiet about it. They don't like to talk about their fears. They don't like to talk about the things that they go through on an emotional level. And they've most likely just never been in a position where they felt safe to do so. So they often try to kind of like avoid these conversations in order to not put themselves out there in such a vulnerable way, group number 4. So I do want you to know here with your next significant other that this is an area where you can help them improve, where you can help them feel safe and supported, and like they have someone who they can speak to finally. I see here within the 5 of materials that your next significant other is someone who can benefit from you doing financial plannings. Your next significant other is someone who invites abundance in. They're going to make a lot of money. They're going to create a lot of wealth, but you're the person who is best off managing it, group number 4, because they are the type of person who isn't the greatest at making sure that they aren't overspending. And they're more than happy to completely give you that task, but you have to be ready to take on that responsibility. And you have to, of course, be in a place where you feel as though you can manage these finances and these numbers that your person is bringing in, group number 4, because it is going to be a significant number. And I want you to know that your next partner is someone who is more focused on creating and doing more rather than figuring out how you can get a tax break. topic. I can see here within weight that your next significant other is someone who isn't coming into your life today or tomorrow, group number 4. You will have to be patient to meet this person. So if right now you're, for example, in high school or college, or you're at a point in your life where you still are figuring out the next steps and where you're going, you're not quite sure, know that your next significant other is going to take a little bit more time to come into your life as a whole. So you're going to want to make sure that you focus on yourself and on your growth right now. Because once this person comes into your life, that is the end of single life. And trust me, after a couple years or decades of being with someone, you will see all of the positives about being single. You will see that you are able to just focus on yourself, which is something you cannot do when you're in a relationship. So cherish that this is your reality right now, but at the same time, we've got an amazing significant other that's teed up for you. We will figure out more details about the exact timing. We will figure out more details about your next significant other as soon as I've cleared and cleansed the space for you one more time, group number 4, and I'll be right back with you to delve even more deeply into your personal tarot reading. Welcome back, group number 4. Let's get more in depth about your next significant other, shall we? So first up, we've got gratitude as well as angel of miracles. So within gratitude, I can see here that your next significant other is someone who is grateful for everything that they have, and they're definitely the type to express gratitude on a daily basis. So maybe they've got a gratitude journal. Maybe they're the type of person who prays before bed, or in the morning they say their affirmations. I do want you to know here that your next significant other is someone who gives thanks to everything. They're the type of person whom you will never see complain. And I see here within the angel of miracles that they understand that the more grateful that they are and the more they give thanks to what's already within their life, the more they will be able to receive. So while they have a side to them that is very productive, that's very logical, that is an artist at heart, but at the same time also wants to create something that changes the world, they also have a very spiritual side to them, a very intuitive side. I see here within the 7 heavenly virtues that your next significant other has a lot of positive traits that they also want to encourage in other people. So when they see people being selfish, or they see people who are harming others, rather than judging them, your next significant other kind of tries to lead by example. And I see here within the 7 heavenly virtues that they are going to be invited to speak, to be an inspiration for a lot of young people, a lot of young kids. Your next significant other is probably going to be looked at highly, very highly regarded, is what I meant to say, in their industry, and they're going to be invited to a lot of different social settings, which is funny because they're not really that type of outgoing person, but nevertheless, they will do it. They will show up. I see here within the animal bond that actually your next significant other prefers animals over human beings. They feel as though animals are more pure, they're more real, they don't backstab. The animal bond here shows that they also stand up for animals. So I wouldn't be surprised if your next significant other actually retires early, and rather than just doing nothing or continuing to work in a capitalistic type of society and setting, they're the type of person who will purchase rainforest, for example, and just land in order to allow for wilderness to regrow, in order to protect animals, to protect different tribes that are living there right now that a lot of people are trying to push off the face of this earth, it feels like. And they're a very humanitarian type of person. That's also what goes with Aquarius energy, group number 4. They care about the greater picture, the greater good of other people and other creatures, and it shows when you look at their actions. Once they have created and built their wealth, they're going to dedicate their life to philanthropic causes. Next up, we've got the Empress. So in the Empress, I can see here that your next significant other is the type of person who wants a family of their own. Your next significant other is also very open to a family structure that is unconventional. So whether that's a blended family, adopting children, having animals for children, they're open to everything. They are not the type of person who is set on how a family should be, which goes really beautifully with how innovative that they are. They don't feel as though there is just one structure or one way of being a family that will fulfill them or make them happy or feel proud. They're the type of person who lives and thrives in authenticity. They never compare themselves or what they're doing in life to what society or the majority of other people are doing. I can see here within the Hierophant that they're deeply rooted within this belief that education is important and nonconformity. That's one thing that they've learned. It's important to educate people so people don't just follow everyone else, so people don't just follow the crowd. And I see here within the Hierophant that they also question different belief systems. They're the type of person who questions group identification. Your next significant other asks themselves why so many people feel the pressure to just conform, to just be like everybody else rather than being themselves. And it's one of their life's missions. And it's one thing that they want to also teach children. Should they have children with you, for example, one day, group number 4, that it's important to be yourself. It's important to be authentic and to not feel the need to make yourself smaller or to diminish your talents just in order to fit in. Next up, we've got the Temperance card. Now, group number 4, in the Temperance card, I can see that your next significant other is actually someone who loves to travel, and they're going to do a lot of traveling for work. So they're going to create something significant, something that makes a difference in this world. So think, for example, a type of business that allows for people to feel free, to feel good about themselves. That means maybe a product, maybe they've written a book. It could be music that makes people feel really free and amazing about themselves. It could also be an app, for example. They could be in the tech industry. The main thing is that they're creating something new that makes people feel liberated. And the Temperance card shows me that through that, they're doing a lot of traveling, a lot of pitching, a lot of going to different places to talk about their success story as well and to inspire others. The Wheel of Fortune shows me that once this is set in motion, once your next significant other has started on a project and has set their mind to something, there is nothing that can stop them. They are the type of person who thinks big. They're the type of person who thinks way beyond limitations. They color outside of the boxes in every sense of the word. And I can see here that your next significant other is also someone with whom you're going to have a very exciting relationship with when it comes to your intimate life, because they're unconventional. They don't mind trying new things. Nothing is embarrassing or weird to them. And they just adore you and your body. They're not comparing you. They don't even have social media. Social media may be part of their work, but they don't even use it or believe in it, really. They just use it in order to push information out there, but they don't believe in the concept of identifying with what you see on social media or in the media in general. I see here that you will meet your next significant other once you've chosen a new direction, group number 4. So maybe right now you're debating switching jobs, changing schools, moving to a new location geographically. I want you to know that once you have made that decision and once you have gone through with it, that's when you'll meet them. And that's most likely also why you were told earlier in your reading by your guides and angels that this is not a significant other that's going to come around the corner right now. This may take some time, and that's because you first need to decide your new direction and take your first steps into this new direction. And I can see here that once you've done that, success is assured. Also, meeting your next significant other is definitely going to happen as soon as you've gone through that next big change in your life and you've started on the new cycle and period in your existence within this body, in this earthly realm, group number 4. So there are some things that have to happen on your end first before you get to meet your next significant other, but know here that they're not going anywhere. As we've already established, they're not a party animal. They're not the type of person who values quantity over quality or who is I don't know, chasing skirts or chasing six packs. Group number 4, they are the type of person who is very grounded and who values loyalty, right? They are a fixed sign. They are the type of person who likes a stable, reliable partner and a stable home life. Next up, we've got the Hanged Muse, and we've got that confirmed here. The Hanged Muse corresponds to the Hanged Man in the traditional tarot. The message that we're receiving here in the Hanged Muse is that it's okay right now to be in a place where you're both single. It's okay to be in a place where your next significant other isn't here right this second, that there is actually so much to do if you just look at things from a different perspective of focusing on yourself right now before this commitment comes into your life. The Hanged Muse is also a symbol of suspension. It's also a symbol of things getting more and more interesting. So kind of enjoy this ride to your next significant other, because you're most likely only going to experience it once. Group number 4, because once this person is in your life, you're most likely not going to switch to another individual, as there is a type of soulmate, a karmic connection here. And I see within the Queen of Wands that the passion that you share for one another is rooted in deep care and a very deep kind of nurturing feeling, and not wanting to let one another go is kind of the foundation of the relationship in many ways, which can sometimes be difficult, which can definitely sometimes feel as though you're with each other just because you don't want to let go, but you both know deep within that you're meant to be together, that there's only one person like them, and there's only one person who will understand you on a soul level to this degree. I see here within the 10 of Cups, group number 4, that life with your next significant other is going to be fulfilling. It's going to be what you need. It's also going to give you space. If you are an introvert, group number 4, this is a great relationship for you, because you're with someone where over the years, you're not constantly breathing down one another's necks. You're giving one another space to grow, to thrive, to create, to do things differently. The 10 of Cups is a card of fulfillment when it comes to family, your home life, your emotions, your personal life. And your next significant other is someone with whom you can experience all of these very satisfying emotions, all of this very satisfying type of vibe that we've got going on here and represented when speaking about your next significant other. Now, group number 4, we are at the end of your prediction, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure that you leave a little bubble tea cup emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you chose group number 4, that you watched your entire reading. You're part of the unicorn family. You're a certified beautiful little unicorn. And don't forget to, of course, thumbs this video up and subscribe to my channel to never miss out on another prediction. So group number 4, I would like to thank you for spending this divine time and space with me, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming pick a card predictions.